I wanted to do something special for my family, so I decided it would be great to go on a hunting trip with them in a motorhome. We could explore nature and enjoy spending time together. My wife and 2 sons were thrilled when I told them about the surprise. We embarked on an unexpected journey from our hometown of Seattle to the places where I used to go with my father when I was a child. But little did I know, much had changed since then. My love for hunting developed in my youth when I first accompanied my father on hunting trips. However, this occasion was special as it was the first time I took my family with me on a hunt. Jake, my 16-year-old eldest son, had gained a reputation as a troublemaker at school. His mischievous nature often led to minor conflicts with his peers. Meanwhile, 15-year-old Ethan stood out for his calm and focused demeanor. I drove the motorhome forward while the family played cards in the back. We delved deeper into the woods, away from the noise and hustle of everyday life. Along the way, we stumbled upon a small town that seemed frozen in time. The buildings were old. We couldn't resist the urge to stop and explore this charming place. In the town center, we met an interesting elderly man. A conversation ensued, and he told us a chilling story. He spoke in a hushed voice, warning us of the dark secrets hidden in the forest we were heading towards. According to the old man, a group of witches lived in the forest, committing terrible deeds. They conducted mysterious rituals and even sacrificed innocent people. His words sent shivers down our spines, but we tried not to succumb to fear. After all, it was just a legend. Remembering the old man's warning, we continued our journey. As the sun began to set, we parked the motorhome in a clearing surrounded by tall trees. We quickly got to work, unpacking our camping gear and setting up a cozy campsite. The scent of burning wood mingled with the appetizing aroma of sausages sizzling on metal skewers. The tantalizing smell filled the air, awakening our senses and intensifying our excitement. As darkness enveloped the forest, we sat by the campfire, sharing stories and laughter. I prepared my sons for the early hunt to come, teaching them how to shoot a rifle. Suddenly, we heard women's screams and a plea for help. At that moment, a figure emerged from behind the dark curtain of trees, stumbling towards us in desperation. It was a woman, her disheveled appearance and wild eyes bearing witness to the horrors she had endured. They took them. The witches, she gasped, her voice filled with terror. They took me, but I escaped. Without hesitation, I rushed to the woman and led her to safety into our motorhome. Her trembling hands clutched mine, her body shaking with a mix of fear and relief. I gave her water to drink and instructed my sons not to approach, so as not to traumatize them. She recounted the horrors she had witnessed in the clutches of the witches. Their vile rituals, chants in an incomprehensible language, and cold, merciless gazes that seemed to pierce the soul. It was a tale of unspeakable horror and unimaginable cruelty. I couldn't believe it was all true. But seeing it all, I understood that something terrible had happened to the woman. Then suddenly, my wife and sons rushed into the motorhome in panic, their faces contorted with horror as they screamed that a horde of witches was closing in on us from all sides. Without a moment's hesitation, I handed each of my sons a rifle, their hands trembling as they gripped the weapons. I grabbed the shotgun, feeling its weight and the cold steel in my palm. Resolve mixed with fear as we prepared to face the approaching threat. I ordered the boys to hold the defense at the windows, while my wife immediately called the police. The witches' chanting grew louder, their threatening voices merging into an insistent chorus, sending shivers down our spines. I stepped out of our motorhome and fired a warning shot into the air, the sound echoing through the night. It was a desperate attempt to hold off the witches, to make them think twice before continuing their pursuit. The sound of the shot reverberated through the trees, momentarily halting their advance. Then they started to approach again, torches in hand. It was a surreal and terrifying sight as they surrounded us from all sides. At that moment, Time seemed to stand still. The sounds of gunfire pierced the night. The boys, unable to bear such horror, began shooting from the windows. I fired one into the air. The witches screeched. Some fell to the ground, while others retreated into the depths of the forest, disappearing into the night like ghosts. "They're retreating," Ethan shouted. I ordered everyone to stay in cover, to remain vigilant, and wait for help. Half an hour later, the police arrived. We were saved. As the investigation progressed, the police made significant strides. Versions were worked out, connections were established, and gradually, a network of individuals involved in the witches' coven was uncovered. Authorities, working tirelessly, apprehended members of the cult one by one, ensuring the triumph of justice. After the witches' coven was dismantled and its members found behind bars, a sense of security returned to the region. Scars of the past remained, but the community united in a common resolve to heal and move forward, no longer living in fear of the unknown.